I'm sure you guys know this as well as I do now, but every single year, it is a foregone conclusion that there will be a handful of NBA players, if not more, that catch the spotlight as a rising star or a player that has really progressed their game over the offseason. However, with this handful of players catching the spotlight, there is usually a handful of NBA players who are not, that are doing pretty much the exact same thing in terms of progressing their game. And yes, this is what we are going to be going through in today's video, you guys, as we are going to be going through the top NBA players who have been flying under the radar so far this NBA season in terms of their improvement. You guys all obviously know I'm excited to get into this video, but before we do, I'm going to save you guys the effort, give you 5 seconds to go down below and subscribe. You guys are not going to regret doing this, I promise you that, as we are coming out with brand new NBA videos around here on a weekly basis. So if you guys enjoy NBA content and you like what you've seen so far, you might as well hit that subscribe button to never miss another video. I appreciate all of you guys that do this for me. Thank you so much, but without further ado, let's get into this video. Now you guys, the first player we're going to be discussing for this video is actually Malcolm Brogdon of the Indiana Pacers. And it was really surprising to me, you guys, as I was doing most of my research to compile a list to make for this video, a lot of other people's analysis and lists around social media did not include Malcolm Brogdon, which was surprising at first glance from me, and then after doing the research myself, he is well worthy of being on this list. As so far, to point out the biggest improvements of his game from last season to this, he is now averaging 21.5 points per game compared to 16.5 last season. On top of this, you guys, his efficient field goal percentage this season has increased by almost 4% compared to last season, while taking 5 more attempts per game this season, which, when you think about that stat in itself, you guys, is honestly pretty crazy. And on top of this, you guys, which may be the most important improvement, is that his 3-point percentage has increased by 6.5% this season compared to last, while once again increasing his volume of shots as he is taking 2 more 3-pointers per game this season compared to last season. So the numbers are speaking for themselves that Malcolm Brogdon is just slowly but surely becoming a bigger part of this Indiana Pacers offense. He is quite literally only improving, especially in the major aspects of his game. I do know it also was a major point of discussion on if Malcolm Brogdon should have been a 2021 All-Star this year, and this one to me, you guys, is honestly a 50-50 argument. I could see this conversation going either way depending on who you ask, so I want to hear about what you guys have to think about this situation in the comments. But Malcolm Brogdon, yes, well deserving of being on this list, as the media recognition has not been much for him. Next up, you guys, on this list, we are going to be covering Terry Rozier of the Charlotte Hornets. Now, I'm not sure if most of you watch your fair share of basketball around the entire league, but if you have not watched the Charlotte Hornets this year, specifically Terry Rozier, I highly recommend you do as soon as you possibly can, as this man is honestly, in my opinion, having one of the quietest breakout seasons I have ever seen. And yes, this is probably due to the fact of LaMelo Ball being on his team, who is getting much of the media attention. However, Terry Rozier's improved style of play is being noticed by some, and I happen to be one of those people. As so far this season, he is averaging slightly more points than last year, as last year he averaged 18 points per game and now he has jumped up to 20.3 points per game. However, points per game definitely don't tell the entire story of a player's improvement, as so far this year, Terry Rozier has been averaging a 59.8 efficient field goal percentage, which is a ridiculous 8.5% improvement compared to last season, when he is also taking more shots from the field this year. I should also mention he is shooting 11% better from inside the arc this year compared to last, as well as 3% better from 3, which, you guys, are some more than impressive numbers for improvement. This is just really satisfying for me to see personally, as I'm sure most of you remember about 2 off seasons ago, Terry Rozier signed with the Charlotte Hornets, earning about 18 to 19 million per year in that contract. And with this signing, a lot of people were cautious and curious if Terry Rozier actually deserved that kind of salary. And I think it's pretty safe to say if he keeps up this game and this level of improvement, he is more than deserving of this contract. Next up, you guys, we got another one of my favorite and underrated young players to watch in the NBA currently, and this is Dejounte Murray of the San Antonio Spurs. Once again, Dejounte Murray is another one of these players who has been having a stellar improvement in this season compared to last, and is not getting that much recognition for. This probably has something to do with the fact that the media has relatively been ghosting the San Antonio Spurs for the last couple of seasons, but that topic is for another video. So let's get into why Dejounte Murray is worthy of being on this list. So as we look at the 2020 stats for Dejounte Murray, he put up averages of 11 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 assists per game. While this year, while you look at all 3 averages of these major statistical categories, he has improved. As so far this year for the San Antonio Spurs, he is averaging almost 16 16 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. So it is very obvious that Dejounte Murray is finally stepping into the role the San Antonio Spurs had hoped he could one day fulfill when they drafted him. It is also very relieving and amazing to see Dejounte Murray taking a major step forward in his game like this. As some of you might not remember, but when he was just 21 years old in his third NBA season, he ended up tearing a ligament in his right leg, which sidelined him for an entire season in what would have been his third year in the league. And whenever you see a good young player with such a high caliber come back from a devastating injury like this, it's always a good sight to see. Next up, you guys, for those that are flying under the radar in terms of improvement this year, we're going with Coby White of the Chicago Bulls. Again, with the Chicago Bulls being an average to below average team so far in the 2021 NBA season, they have not been getting much media recognition. I shouldn't say this entirely, actually, as Zach LaVine has been getting a lot of recognition. However, this in itself is probably a contributing factor to why Coby White is not getting any recognition himself. But believe me when I say this, he is more than deserving of getting some type of recognition for what he's done so far this year. As when we look at last year's averages, he put up about 13 points, 3.5 rebounds, and just under 3 assists per game. However, when we look at the averages from this season, it is more than obvious that Coby White's game has improved. As so far this year, he is averaging 16 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game, while also having a higher field goal percentage from the field overall and shooting more per game as well. Now, yes, you guys, I know another major reason for Coby White putting up these better numbers this year is probably due to the fact that he has started this entire year for the Chicago Bulls so far, compared to last season when he started only 1 game for the Bulls in the entire season. However, this seemed kind of expected from Coby White, as he was a top 10 pick by the Chicago Bulls. I'm assuming they were asking him to step into a bigger role this year, which he has fulfilled quite nicely. But with this only being his second year in the NBA, I see nothing but improvement from Coby White coming in the near future. For my final player I wanted to cover in today's video, you guys, is yet again another player that I feel many people are not recognizing his improvement and have not been giving recognition to him as well. And if you haven't got the hit yet somehow, yes, it is Lonzo Ball of the New Orleans Pelicans. Now, this is another example of a player who I feel has improved pretty substantially without their core averages actually going up by a drastic amount, as his points have gone up about 2.5 points per game this season compared to last. However, his average rebounds and assists per game have gone down. But like we said before, you guys, these numbers don't tell the entire story, as it is blatantly obvious to anybody that looks at the statistics that Lonzo Ball's shooting has gone up year by year since he has entered the NBA. And I know that some NBA fans watching this know this, but I feel the majority of the NBA fan base does not. As we look at Lonzo Ball's overall field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, 2-point percentage, and along with that efficient field goal percentage, with the exception of his transition between the 2019 and 2020 season, there has relatively been nothing but improvement over the course of his 4-year career so far, which as an NBA fan, I absolutely love to see. Because I'm not going to go as far to say that the NBA media was labeling Lonzo Ball as a bust, but as a general consensus, I would say it was not leaning in the favor of Lonzo Ball. And again, like I've said many times in this video, even though the core numbers aren't showing drastic improvement from year to year, when you actually take a look into the statistics and on top of this, watch this man play, it becomes more and more obvious that this man is slowly but steadily improving and he has a long NBA career ahead of him. Alright, you guys, after going through my top 5 NBA players who are flying under the radar so far in the 2021 NBA season, I'm thinking that's going to mark the end of the video for today. As always, I'm really hoping you guys did enjoy the video, and if you did, don't forget to go down below and leave a like and subscribe while you're at it. As I mentioned before, you guys, you don't want to miss out on what we have to offer around here, as we're coming out with brand new NBA content every single week. Also, don't forget to comment down below, you guys, one NBA player I missed that you guys feel is flying under the radar and at the same tier as the players I mentioned in this video. I reply to every single comment, you guys. I want to hear what you have to say about this. So once again, I thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you guys in the next video.